You must have seen quite a few managers come and go. For example, when you're at QPR, Nedum, what's the first day like? No, that wasn't a dig. That wasn't a dig. It was just it was
setup.
It wasn't a setup.
The setup.
Like, what's it like the first day of training when the new boss comes in? Are people showing off? Is so everyone trying a little bit harder? Like, just take us through that.
Listen, first things first, nobody's late. But I've seen tons of people historically be late when the previous manager's under a bit of pressure. You know, they're kind of just down tools as such.
Right.
When the new guy's in there, it's like, oh, here's your chance to make a good first impression. You know, I'm going to make sure I'm late. I'm going to make sure I'm early, make sure that I'm ready. You know, I'm going to go in the gym now. I'm going to get really focused, get ready for training. Oh, what time's the meeting? Oh, is it 10 o'clock? Okay, I'll get there at 9:45. All that type of stuff. And then you'll sit there and realistically at this point, it's the manager's chance to get across some of the initial points that he wants from you. Where there's going to be talking about style of play, how he believes the team should be going forward, you know, what his hopes and expectations are for the collective, maybe has individual meetings as well. And then you get a chance to go out on the training field and see how they coach. You know, at this point, you know, you're trying to get a feel for that new coach, but ultimately he's trying to get a feel for you as well. I think for some coaches, if not every coach, they have an idea of who they'd want to have in their side based on videos and stuff that they've seen. But as the guys will tell you, it's a lot more intimate when you see them on a day-to-day basis. Because some of the players who get picked on weekends get picked for, you know, for a million different reasons, not just the ones that we believe. So I think as a player, you want to make sure that you start off with a good impression, do well in that first training session, make sure you're listening. And if you want to be successful, like try and understand what he wants from you. Because the moment that I think a coach can see that you understand and you can go and do it, you'll get a chance to play. And once you're in that side, you know, being there at the start can be so important. Some people, they end up missing the opportunity. And if you get that first bit wrong, before you know it, you could be training with the kids, you could be moving on, you could be getting sold in January, who knows? But I think, as I say, and you were right, Dan, I did actually have a lot of managers. I think I had 14 in my career. I played for 16 years. So I've seen this once or twice, you could say. But, you know, it's what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, my friend.
Nedum, when you were captain, how much did they talk to you? Did they talk to you? Did you have a conversation with them before, for example, they spoke to the group? Did they get your insight into anything?
Well, yeah, when I was captain, so this was only for 3 years, but in that time, I had 3 different managers. And in fairness, I was a kind of go-between between the manager and the players. I was more senior at the time. The squad was a little bit younger. So getting a chance to speak to the manager and see what they wanted and see how they wanted to sort of implement things with the team. I wasn't necessarily like, you know, saying this guy's bad, this guy's good, and so on and so forth. But I needed to make sure that to give the manager the best chance of being successful, that the messaging actually went across to the players. Sometimes it was about the why. It's about, you know, the significance of this thing. This is what we're trying to go for, you know. So there's no misunderstanding whatsoever. And then in time, you know, a manager can be successful, but I'd rather the why.
Oh, the why.
Why is not wise. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's none of that. Nobody's talking about the wives like that, my friend. This isn't Chelsea anyway. But anyway, we move on. Yeah, as I was saying, you then try and make sure that you give the manager the best chance to be successful. Can the message go across? Like, can the players do what he wants to do? Does he get frustrated or not? Then, you know, almost giving feedback in some ways, but also representing the players whilst talking to the manager. And some managers, you know, it's great. You can knock on the door, you can talk to them. Some have got like great relationship with the players on the field. And you've got some of the coldest ones you could ever see where you will never speak to them. So I think as a captain, to be trusted to be out there to play and to pass over the messaging is key. Because if that sort of relationship doesn't work out between the manager and the players, before you know it, there's like resentment that starts to breed between the two parties. And then lo and behold, this failure that's not too far away down the road.
Can I just say very quickly, Manchester United is a gift that keeps on giving. And I know for a fact that Ruben Amorim is going to come in and he's going to lose the first couple of games. And then the conversation is going to be, but we were winning with Rude. Rude was here. And that will be the conversation.
Am I kind of taking this to too much of a basic level?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking at school, you get a new teacher come in.
Yeah.
You judge that teacher within 2 seconds. You know exactly what you can get away with, what's going to be expected of you, if you like them, if they're the real deal. Yeah. Is it the same?
Absolutely.
For a group of players and a manager comes in?
The judgment is just not manager on players, it's also players on manager and players on the staff as well. Everybody is measuring each other. Sure. And yes, while the new manager shows up the first day for the meeting and you usually sitting back, you sit up. Yeah, you pay attention. But now I'm paying attention to everything that you're saying. And how are you saying it? Let me see the training session. What is the points that we're making in the training session? Do they make sense? Does this make sense? So the whole idea. What are we trying to do? What's the game plan? How are we going to execute that game plan? All of that is happening. And every player, let me just tell you, it doesn't matter the level of professional that you were. You think that you know what's best for the team. And if that manager comes in and puts forth a message that you're kind of going, I don't know about this.
Right. They're not ready.
And mind you, then you go on the field and you try what he's asking you to do, and it doesn't quite work. Now there's doubt everywhere. And so it's so important. It's not just important for the players that the first training session goes well. It's important for the manager that first week that you understand, okay, this is my role as an individual, because as a player you care about your role first and foremost. This is what I'm supposed to do. I understand it wholeheartedly. I know what I'm supposed to do. And then as a group, that everybody understands what they're supposed to do. Once the players buy into that, then it's a whole lot easier for everybody. The managers, the assistant, and the players.
You've been on both sides of this, Stevie, obviously.
Yeah, any coach worth his salt isn't falling for all that nonsense first day and all that.
What nonsense? People turning up.
Oh, everybody's nice.
Right.
Everybody's got a smile on their face, and everybody this and that. And in fact, probably for Amorim, the sooner he has a loss, the better, because then he'll figure out who's who.
Okay.
And who the characters are, and who's going to hide, and who's going to step up, and who's, the coach can't fall for all that nonsense. He just can't, and he won't. But as soon as things settle down, and then everybody will get back to normal, and we'll see who's what.
Right.
And that's when that's when he'll figure. That's when he'll really figure out who's who and who needs to stay and who he needs to get out the door.
Garnacho scored a banger, but didn't celebrate like he should because he thinks he's lost faith from some fans. I told him people are always moan, but lots of people like you and enjoy what you do. God, it's like a pantomime in here with you two groaning away.
What a lot. And I'll tell you what.
Why has Bruno made that public?
Garnacho's got absolutely... If this is true and Garnacho hasn't celebrated for that reason, he's got no chance. He's not going to last as a professional player. Certainly not at a club like Man United.
Yeah.
Where when you're up there, you're up there. And when you're down, people don't... They try to get you off the bottom of the shoe.
What's his captain doing saying that? That doesn't help, does it?
No, that doesn't help.
No.
I was sitting here the other day congratulating Bruno for saying nice things about Ten Hag.
Yes.
And then he comes and does that. I mean, again, both are as bad. For him to come out and say it, really stupid. But if Garnacho feels like that, good luck in the next few years, because social media and everything else, he's going to collapse.
Nedum, what's going on here?
I'm so confused by that. I'm going to be honest. So he thinks they've lost faith. So after he scores and 70,000 people jump up, he's like, well, I'm not going to celebrate. That'll show you. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, to be honest. I think he's missed the moment there. And from what I don't know if this is a big conversation about fans losing faith in Garnacho, because, if we want to talk about losing faith, let's have a conversation about the amount of people that talk about Marcus Rashford on a week-to-week basis. Garnacho seems to be somebody who the fans like. He's direct. Maybe there's a question mark about how he's going to fit into this Amorim system, but overall, I don't know many people that, speak very, very ill of him. And when he's producing, celebrate it. You don't know when that next moment's going to come. It's such a great goal in front of the Stretford end, the famous Stretford end, and you don't celebrate it. I think in time he'll probably regret that.
You know what's troubling is that he started to celebrate.
Yeah.
It was only natural for him to go celebrate because of the magnitude of the goal. And Nedum just talked about it. Great goal, puts the game away, 3-0. You're going to win the match. Let's go celebrate. Naturally, he's going, I'm going to run. I know this ball is going in. I'm going to go celebrate. And then, no, I will not celebrate. Not for you, not for you, not for you. No. It's childish behavior. It's childish behavior.
Just get off social media now. Just don't look at
Well,
them.
yeah, but yes. Well, first of all, why are you on it to begin with? But regardless, it's childish behavior. As it is Bruno trying to say and explain while the child is behaving like a child, he's actually putting him out there. He's exposing the childish behavior that you could keep between Garnacho and yourself. You could have that same conversation with Garnacho and say, hey, Alejandro, what are you doing? It's something that I do when I look in the mirror every morning.
Yeah? Well, yes.
Yes, and I have no answer. The truth of the matter is that if you're Bruno Fernandes and a true leader, you have that conversation with Garnacho, not with the rest of the world.
It's never good when we put out the manager odds to be fired in the Premier League. He's a long way from that conversation, surely, at the moment. Ange Postecoglou sitting at 16-1. Russell Martin at the moment favourites, along with Lopetegui, to be the next manager to be sacked. But it was really disappointing, wasn't it? That Spurs performance, particularly in the first half against Ipswich, in which they handed Ipswich their first win of the season, losing 2-1 in North London.